It began the way most downfalls do, with money. Or, more precisely, with the moment you realize it's already gone, while the man across from you still swears it's your fault. The kitchen smelled of burnt toast and cold coffee. A crumpled foreclosure notice lay between us like a crime scene photo. Sunlight carved thin lines through the blinds, striping the table where Marcus sat, shoulders tense. Wedding ring catching the light like an accusation. "I need another 75,000, he said. So casual, as if numbers that big were air. My hand froze on the cup. 75,000? Marcus, we already owe the bank everything we own. He didn't look up. The house needs finishing. Contractors are waiting. It's done. The house, I whispered. That cursed lake mansion he called our future. Marcus, we've sold almost everything for that place. He cut me off with a laugh so hollow it hurt. You don't get it, Naomi. You think small. I'm building something people will remember. He looked up for half a second, and I almost saw the man who once fixed my bike under the summer sun. Almost. Then it was gone. Marcus, I said softly, you're gambling our lives away. He slammed his palm on the table. The notice jumped like it was afraid of him. Get dressed. We're leaving. Leaving? Where? You'll see, he said. And leave your phone and purse. Something inside me folded. Obedience had become muscle memory. The drive was quiet. The city thinned into pale outskirts, then empty fields. Billboards slouched in weeds. I stared out the window. My reflection ghosted over broken barns. Marcus, what are we doing? You'll see. 30 minutes later, he turned onto a lane of crooked trees. Gravel hissed under the tires. He stopped beside an old, rusted bus shelter. Nothing else for miles. He didn't turn off the engine. Get out. What? I laughed once, brittle. Marcus, come on, get out. His voice had no anger left, only decision. I hesitated, still hoping for the joke, for the wink that would save me. Okay, you made your point. Naomi. Soft now. Final. I opened the door. The wind shoved against me. When I turned back, he watched through the windshield, eyes hollow. Marcus? He smiled, a cruel, tiny smile. There's no meeting. There's just you, and your problem with money. You wanted independence? Congratulations. The car leapt forward, spraying gravel. The wind filled the silence like a voice I couldn't understand. The gravel still shifted, where his tires had been, as if the road itself hadn't. Realized he was gone. Then even that stopped. I don't know how long I sat on that splintered bench before I noticed the woman. She was tucked in the corner of the shelter, coat neat, hands folded around a silver-handled cane. Her glasses were thick and dark. For a moment I thought she was asleep, until I noticed her cane had moved slightly, though she hadn't. Stop crying, she said without turning. Tears fix nothing. Her voice was dry, certain. I'm sorry, I whispered. Your husband left you. Not a question. I nodded. They all do, she muttered. First they build walls around you. Then they push you outside them. Tap, tap. Her cane beat slow time on the concrete. Want to make him regret it? What? Make him regret it. She lifted her head. The black lenses caught the dying light. My driver's coming. Pretend you're my granddaughter. Get in the car. I don't even know who you are. You will. But right now, it's simple. Stay here and vanish or get in and start over. Headlights sliced the dusk. A black sedan glided to a stop. A tall man in a charcoal suit stepped out. Miss Vance, he said. We're ready. Darius, the woman replied, voice suddenly commanding. My granddaughter rides with us tonight. The driver opened the door and waited. No questions. Fear anchored me to the bench, until another fear, colder and lonelier, pushed me up. I followed her into the car. The door closed with a soft, final thunk. Inside it smelled of leather and lilies, sweet with smoke underneath. The woman sat straight, cane between her knees like a staff of office. We drove in silence. The world outside faded to shadow. After a while, iron gates rose ahead, crowned with barbed tips and cameras that blinked red once, like eyes acknowledging us. As the car passed through, I heard a faint click behind us. The gates locking again. Beyond them stood a mansion of dark brick, tall and windowless on the lower floor. It looked less like a home and more like a verdict. Inside, the air was too clean, too quiet. Somewhere behind the walls, something mechanical hummed. Steady, deliberate, alive. The woman removed her glasses. Her eyes were not blind. They were sharp and assessing. "My name is Eleanor Vance," she said. "And you are Naomi Sterling, 38, administrator at the steel plant. Husband, Marcus Sterling, city council junior officer, ambitious, reckless, correct?" My throat tightened. "How do you know?" "I make it my business to know everyone who matters," she said, placing her cane down with a clean metallic click. "And those who only think they do." She poured herself a glass of water. "Your husband is drowning. In loans, in ego. Men like him would rather bury a woman than admit defeat." I said nothing. "I can help you," she continued. "Give back what's yours. The apartment, the life, the dignity. What's the price?" "A favor." When I ask, "Nothing more." Her eyes stayed on me, cold. Yet for a heartbeat I thought they softened. But then the mask slid back in place. "Why me?" I asked. "Because you've lost everything," she said. "And that makes you dangerous. And useful." She extended a gloved hand. "Deal?" For years I'd been surviving, but for the first time I wanted to strike back. "Deal," I said. Her grip was ice. "Good," she murmured. "Estelle will show you your room, shower, eat. Tomorrow you remember who you are." She turned. The cane's tap, tap, tap trailed down the marble corridor, fading like a metronome counting something only she understood. The guest room was vast but airless, every corner neat to the point of threat. Folded clothes waited on the bed, beige sweater, gray trousers, underthings aligned with surgical precision. In the bathroom, steam blurred my reflection. I let the water scald my skin. When I closed my eyes, I saw Marcus. Not the man who left me, but the one who once danced with me barefoot in the rain. That man was gone, and so was the woman who waited to be rescued. When I finally lay down, exhaustion pulled at me. The sheets were cold. Somewhere in the dark, faintly, came tap, 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 Eleanor's cane echoing through the halls. As I drifted off, her voice followed me. "Choose." And I wondered if I already had. By dawn, Naomi will learn that Eleanor Vance hadn't saved her. She'd recruited her. And the first test of loyalty will demand a price Marcus Sterling could never imagine. Morning came too quiet. Not peaceful, but staged. Even the birds outside sounded recorded. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. The ceiling rose white and perfect above me, carved edges catching soft light. Then memory returned. The bus stop, the car, the woman with the silver cane, Eleanor Vance. The sheets smelled faintly of lilies and something colder underneath, like polished metal pretending to be warmth. My old clothes were gone. In their place, a gray dress lay folded with military precision. No clock, no phone, just silence. When I stepped into the corridor, a light buzzed and steadied, as though deciding whether to acknowledge me. Before I could take another step, a woman appeared. Black uniform, hair in a bun, posture straight as a ruler. "Good morning, Mrs. Sterling," she said. "Miss Vance is waiting." Her voice was pleasant and empty at the same time. I followed her down a hallway lined with oil portraits. Every painted gaze seemed to track me. The dining room was large enough to echo its own stillness. Eleanor sat at the far end, cane beside her plate, black coffee untouched. "Sit," she said. I obeyed. "You slept well?" "I think so," I said. She tilted her head. "The house takes getting used to. It listens." "Listens for what?" I asked before thinking. "Mistakes," she murmured. They echo louder than footsteps. A shiver traced my spine. Estelle, the uniformed woman, placed breakfast before me. Fruit, toast, tea. The smell was painfully normal. After several quiet minutes, Eleanor set down her cup. "You said you wanted to strike back," she said. Did you mean it? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say no, that I just wanted peace. But another part, the bruised, angry one, spoke first. Yes, I said. Her eyes caught the lie and kept it. Good, she said softly. The cane tapped once. Then we begin. Cut. I was in her study, dark wood, heavy curtains, air that smelled like old paper and secrets. Eleanor slid a folder across the desk. Open it. I did. Photographs. At first, I thought she was showing me her past, some betrayal of her own. A man in a cafe, his hand brushing another woman's. Then I saw the ring. My ring, Marcus. The woman beside him, younger, blonde, perfect in that magazine-spread way. My throat tightened. Who is she? Lila Henderson, Eleanor said. Real estate agent. Meets him twice a week. I imagine he tells her he's the victim. Each photo hurt worse than the last. Marcus kissing her. Marcus handing her a small envelope. You had someone follow him? I have someone follow everyone, she said simply. It's how one survives. I closed the folder, hands trembling. Eleanor leaned forward. Do you want him back? Or do you want him ruined? The question sliced clean through my chest. I don't want him, I whispered. I just want him to feel what I felt. Her lips curved. Excellent. Honesty always sounds ugly. She opened a drawer, pulled out a black phone and an envelope. This connects only to me. You'll use it for what comes next. What comes next? The first favor, she said. My favor, cut. The black sedan rolled through gray streets. Darius drove, face unreadable. The envelope sat on my lap. Inside, a flash drive labeled Council Office, Sterling. We stopped 2 blocks from my old apartment. The sight of that building clawed at me. I climbed the steps, heart hammering. My key no longer fit. When I pressed the buzzer, a woman's voice answered, light, careless. Hello? It was Lila. I froze. Who is this? She asked, laughter echoing faintly behind her. Marcus's voice followed, blurred but unmistakable. I pressed my palm to the door. The wood was warm from the inside. I could hear glasses clink, a television laugh track, a life continuing without me. Wrong number, I breathed and turned away. Back in the car, Darius glanced at me in the mirror. Everyone owes her something eventually, he muttered. I wasn't sure if he meant Eleanor or me. That evening, Eleanor was waiting in her study. You went home, she said. You saw what he replaced you with. I nodded. He changed the locks. Of course, he's rewriting his story. But you can still edit the ending. She gestured to the flash drive. That contains every dirty contract your husband brokered. Hidden payments. Illegal favors. Deliver it to Samuel Greer, reporter at the Tribune. Tomorrow night, fundraiser at the Meridian Hotel. Why me? Because they'll listen to the betrayed before they listen to the corrupt. Her voice sharpened. Wear black. Grief commands attention. If this leaks, he'll lose everything, I said. That's the point. Her calm frightened me more than his cruelty ever had. That night, I wandered the corridor, unable to rest. At one turn, I passed a mirror. My reflection lagged a heartbeat behind me. When I blinked, it caught up. My skin prickled. Farther down, a door sat half in shadow. Heavy oak, sealed with an ornate brass lock. I tried the handle. It didn't budge. Estelle's voice came from behind me, too close. That wing's not for guests, Mrs. Sterling. I turned. She was smiling, polite, but her eyes flat. Of course, I said, stepping back. As I passed her, I could swear I heard a faint breath behind that locked door. I didn't ask again. Hours later, alone in my room, I stared at the phone Eleanor had given me. I shouldn't, but my fingers dialed a number I still knew by heart. Marcus. It rang once, twice. Then, click. I hung up before he answered, breathing hard. Shame burned hot in my chest. In the distance, machinery inside the walls hummed on, steady as a heartbeat. Morning brought the gown, black silk, elegant, morning. Estelle laid out shoes and a clutch. Inside, the flash drive, gleaming like a loaded confession. Darius opened the car door. Ready? No, I said. But I'm going anyway. The Meridian Hotel glittered like a lie told too many times. Chandeliers, cameras, champagne laughter. Marcus stood near the stage, arm around Lila, smile rehearsed to perfection. I almost turned back. Then Eleanor's voice echoed in memory. Let him see you. Across the room, reporter Samuel Greer checked his watch, already moving for the exit. I pushed through the crowd. A guard's eyes flicked toward my badge. I smiled, kept walking. The reporter turned away just as I reached him. Mr. Greer? I whispered. He half turned. I have something you'll want. I pressed the flash drive into his hand. Who are you? But I was gone before he finished. Relief hit. Then froze. Naomi? His voice. Marcus. He crossed the ballroom, shock bending into fury. What are you doing here? I met his eyes. Just watching. Watching what? You, I said. Finally. You shouldn't be here. I know. I just wanted to see what you built after me. For a second, guilt flickered behind his anger. Then the mask returned. You have no idea what you've started. Maybe not, I said. But I'm starting. I walked away before he could answer. Outside, the air was cold and merciful. Eleanor waited in the car, immaculate as always. You did well, she said. You knew he'd see me. Of course. A wound closes cleaner when it's cut open first. Her calm scraped against my nerves. What now? Now, she said. We listen. Morning headlines screamed, City Council scandal, leaked files, expose Marcus Sterling. His smiling face filled every screen. Eleanor appeared behind me, reflection sharp in the glass. How does it feel? I thought it would feel like justice, I said. It doesn't. That's because justice and peace are different things, she said. And peace always costs more. She rested her cane beside me. You've paid your debt, Naomi. Now you owe mine. My pulse stumbled. What do you mean? Her smile didn't reach her eyes. You didn't think favors went one way, did you? Something in her tone made my stomach twist. That night, the mansion felt awake. Voices murmured down the hall, Eleanor and Darius. She's not ready yet, Darius said. She will be, Eleanor replied. Pain sharpens purpose. Their words slipped under the door like smoke. I crept back toward my room. Just before I reached the door, the lights flickered. Once, twice. A low sound rose from the floorboards. Not from their room, from mine. A long, slow exhale, too steady to be pipes. I froze listening. The air trembled. And for the first time, I knew the mansion wasn't silent. It was listening. Naomi has delivered Eleanor's favor. But tomorrow she'll discover what Eleanor truly collects inside those walls. And why none of her guests ever leave. The mansion did not sleep. It waited, like it knew why I'd come. All night something under the floor kept time with my heartbeat. Sometimes faster. Sometimes waiting for me to catch up. By morning I could feel it breathing through the walls. When I stepped into the hall, bulbs flickered in a perfect sequence, guiding me somewhere I hadn't chosen. The air smelled of lilies and metal, sweetness pretending to be mercy. Estelle appeared, quiet as a held breath. Miss Vance would like to see you. I followed. The portraits followed me. Eleanor sat before the television glow. Marcus filled the screen, sweating, denying, smiling too much. He'll fight, she said. They always fight. You ruined him. You did. Her tone was soft, sharp. I lent you the weapon. Tell me, how does it feel to hold it? I don't know yet. Then you need another test. A knock. Darius entered with a tray, a letter sealed in black wax. Eleanor broke the seal, read once. The Henderson girl has vanished. Lila? The word caught on my tongue. Eleanor's smile didn't reach her eyes. You sound concerned. She didn't deserve it, didn't she? A faint tap of the cane. I didn't make her disappear. Someone else merely answered the echo you started. The word echo shook something loose inside me. It wasn't my fault, I whispered. But even I didn't believe it. The locked door waited down the corridor, its handle cold as bone. A single slow heartbeat pulsed behind it. Mrs. Sterling. Estelle stood behind me, Tray empty. That wing isn't for guests. What's inside? Memories Miss Vance prefers contained. Whose memories? Her smile stayed still. Everyone's. She turned away, heels tapping like a countdown. Afternoon light spilled through the conservatory glass. Eleanor trimmed orchids with surgical calm. Plants don't lie, she said. They wilt when ignored. People pretend. Her fingers trembled around the shears. Tell me, if you could erase pain entirely, would you? That's not possible. Everything's possible, given the right house. A picture frame cracked with a small ping. Eleanor didn't flinch. The mansion keeps what the world discards, she said. It remembers so you don't have to. I hesitated. I heard Lila's laugh last night. The house repeats what it likes. Echoes never die, Naomi. She cut another stem. Red bled where sap should have been. For a moment I almost pitied her, until I saw my own face in her eyes. That night I dreamed of mirrors, endless rows, each showing a different version of me. When I woke, the corridor door across the hall stood ajar. The brass lock hung twisted, air heavy with salt. Dozens of photographs lined the narrow passage. Women, smiling, frightened, fading. Lila's face stared back. Below it, guest 47, a breath touched my neck. Eleanor stood at the end. You shouldn't be here. What is this? A record. A museum. Of what? People you help? People who owe. Lila wanted forgiveness. I offered peace. She accepted. That's not peace. It is when you stop remembering the difference. You said you save people. I said I keep them. You think this is mercy? Her eyes hardened. You mistake. Captivity for consequence. Pause. For a breath, her face cracked open, tired, sad, then whole again. We walked back in silence. In a mirror, our reflections moved. Hers first, mine late. Eleanor's hand on my shoulder. Don't stare too long. Reflection is only the ghost of intention. You said the house listens. To guilt, she said. It eats what you hide. Rain that night hammered the roof. The mansion moaned. My balcony door was bolted. I lifted the black phone. Miss Vance's residence. Estelle's voice. I want to leave. Departure isn't part of your agreement. What agreement? Click, then tap, tap, tap beneath the floor. I pressed my ear down. A whisper slid through. My name drawn too long to be human. Lightning flashed. The portraits rippled like wet paint. The house sighed, content. Morning calm returned, brittle as porcelain. Eleanor poured tea. You look pale. Bad dreams? I heard voices. The house talks to everyone eventually. Few listen. I'm leaving. You could, but the world believes you destroyed your husband. Step outside and they'll finish the story for you. I didn't agree to this. Of course you did. You just didn't read the fine print of desperation. Her hand trembled before she hit it. Sit. Drink your tea. You call this mercy? You still mistake. Captivity for consequence. This time it sounded weary. Like confession, not law. In the garage, Darius wiped the car hood. Did she ever let anyone go? I asked. She lets them forget. Forget what? Why they came. Why they stay. He met my eyes. Everyone thinks they're a guest until the house learns their voice. What happened to Lila? He closed the hood softly. She kept talking when she should have listened. A beat. Run if you still can. Night again. The locked wing glowed faintly, breathing. I reached for the handle. Warm. From behind it. Help me. The lights dimmed. I pushed. The door opened. Mirrors lined the room, stretching forever. The air thickened, as if the mirrors themselves were breathing. Every reflection shimmered. Mine, Lila's, strangers, Eleanor's. Whispers overlapped. Help me. Forgive me. Finish it. Stop, I shouted. My reflection didn't move. It stared. Then it smiled. A low, synchronized breathing filled the room. The sound of lungs, too many to count. A heartbeat joined, matching mine. Eleanor's cane struck once behind me. You wanted truth, she said. Now see what truth remembers. I don't want this. You already asked for it the night you cursed him. The mirrors pulsed. Shapes pressed outward like hands under ice. What are you going to do to me? Nothing, she said. The house decides. I only listen. She looked almost sorry. You can leave whenever you like, Naomi. But what leaves won't be you. I ran. Hallways twisted. Rooms repeating. Portraits watching. In my room, the phone blinked. One new message. Listen. A faint hiss through the speaker. Then my own voice, distorted. Naomi? I dropped the phone. Beneath the floor came tap, 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 followed by that slow, collective breathing. I looked to the mirror. My reflection stayed perfectly still. When I turned away, it didn't. She's seen what the mansion remembers. But next, she'll learn what it wants from her. The mansion didn't wake with the sun. It inhaled, a long, deliberate pull like it was tasting me. I hadn't slept. Every mirror in the hall still faced my door, angled like watchful eyes. I threw a sheet over mine, but fabric can't muffle breathing. Beneath it, glass exhaled, patient, steady, as if waiting for my permission to stop. Downstairs, Estelle poured tea that smelled faintly of iron. Her hands were too still. Miss Vance will join you shortly. Do you ever get used to it? I asked. To what? The house breathing? She smiled without warmth. It's not the house, Mrs. Sterling. It's the guests who forget to exhale. The words sank like cold water. I didn't touch the cup. Eleanor entered, immaculate as always, but her eyes betrayed a shadow of exhaustion. You look worse, she murmured. The house is remembering you faster than I expected. I want to leave, of course. Every debtor does. Her voice stayed calm, yet something trembled underneath. You owed a favor. You've paid mine. Now you owe yours. For what? For survival. Her cane struck twice. Not rhythm, command. Come, you need to see what this place keeps alive. We walked the east corridor, the one Estelle avoided. Air turned brittle. The lights hummed in uneven time with my pulse. At the end stood a steel door, modern, sealed like a vault. Eleanor placed her palm on the panel. Locks hissed open. Inside waited rows of black machines humming like lungs. Cables throbbed. Screens flickered with faces, blinking, breathing, whispering. Lila, Marcus, dozens more. What is this? My throat scraped. The archive, she said. Memory preserved in motion. Their guilt, their truth. You trapped them. I offered permanence. Her tone was firm at first, then thinned. The world forgets what it can't forgive. I corrected that. Why show me? Because you're next. My pulse slammed in my ears. Images of Marcus, laughing, lying, flashed across the glass. The scent of smoke filled my nose. My heart stuttered. And in between the screens for a single instant I saw my own face, blinking back. I ran. Through halls, kitchens, gardens. Every path folded into itself. Each door I opened was another version of the same staircase. Fog clung to the hedges outside. The gate stood open. Darius waited by the car. You want out? He said quietly. Yes. You can try. His knuckles tightened on the keys. Everyone does. I slid into the driver's seat. The ignition clicked, silent. In the rearview mirror there was no me. Only the house, perfectly still, perfectly awake. Eleanor's voice floated from the air vents. Don't run, Naomi. Running only makes the house curious. I stumbled into the garden. Statues lined the path, women frozen mid-breath. One wore Lila's necklace. Dust lifted from her lips. Listen, it whispered. The ground vibrated. A low hum, 1,000 muffled voices clawing toward the surface. My stomach twisted. Heat flushed behind my eyes. Heartbeat, nausea, flash. Marcus turning away that last night. Please, I gasped. Make it stop. Eleanor's cane struck stone. The hum cut out. You see now? She asked softly. You killed them. I kept them. Her tone wavered, brittle. I was like you once. I built this place so nothing could forget me. The house? Yes, but it learned too well. Back in the study, she poured colorless tea. It wanted to keep what I could not. At first, memories. Then moments. Then people. A tremor shook her hand. I feed it guilt. It feeds me peace. You could destroy it. It isn't a thing to destroy. It's a promise that kept itself. Her eyes flickered toward the window, almost afraid. For years I believed mercy was forgetting. Now I'm not sure what mercy costs. She slid a folder toward me. My name on the tab. Inside, photos, clippings, my mother's death certificate. You think the house found you by accident? She said. It called you because you fit. That night I found Estelle burning letters in the furnace. Wax and paper stung my throat. They never stop writing, she said. Begging to come back. Why stay? Because leaving costs more. What cost? She looked at the fire. Yourself. The flames pulsed once. Heartbeat. Then stilled. Idioed the black phone again. Static. Then a whisper not my own. Naomi, do you hear it? Who are you? Your echo. Click. The lamp flickered. Shadows shifted before the furniture did. I grabbed my bag and ran upstairs. Each door opened to a different year of my life. One smelled of roses. One of rain. One of rot. In the last, Marcus slept beside a stranger. Both turned toward me and smiled. My scream didn't echo. The air swallowed it whole, like it had been waiting for this exact sound. Eleanor stood at the corridor's end, candlelight trembling around her. The house is showing you what it remembers, she said. Don't stare too long or it'll forget which version is real. What do you want from me? Nothing. The house does. Why me? Because you asked to be seen. Darkness closed over her face. I'm not staying. Then you must give it something to remember instead. Like what? Your guilt, your truth, or your life. One always buys the others. I have nothing left, she exhaled, the sound half sob, half relief. Then it'll take payment in kind. I woke, maybe minutes later, maybe hours. My body lay on the floor. My eyes watched from across the room. The house had split me clean. One breathing, one remembering. Eleanor's whisper drifted through the mirror. You wanted him ruined. The house only finished what you started, I screamed. The air absorbed it. In the reflection, I smiled. Darius's voice behind me. She did the same once. That's how she stays alive. How do I undo it? You don't. You choose which side you stay on. The glass vibrated. My reflection leaned close. Let me carry it, it breathed. You've done enough. Then softer, listen, I reached forward. Warmth met my skin. For a heartbeat, peace. Then the reflection pulled me through. Cold. Silence. 1,000 whispers beneath the surface. We're still here. We remember. Hands tugged at me. Lila's among them. The house doesn't want you, she said. It wants her. I burst back into air, gasping on the study floor. Eleanor stood before the mirror, eyes wide with terror and awe. You shouldn't have seen that. You built this, but it's you it wants. Her denial cracked. No, I gave it everything. It's still hungry. The mirror rippled. Her reflection reached out first. She whispered, voice breaking. The reflection touched her wrist. Her skin turned to glass. Eleanor! She met my eyes, no fear now, only peace. Finally, she breathed. It remembers me too. Her body shattered into light. Silence. Stillness. Then, one last sigh from the house. Outside, garden statues crumbled into dust. The mansion exhaled, long and low. Release. Darius stood at the doorway. She set it free, he said. Free? The house has what it wanted. And me? He studied me. Do you still remember what you did? I looked at my hands. Light shimmered under my skin, like glass learning to breathe. I remember enough. That night the mansion was silent. No tapping, no whispers. Just dangerous stillness. I packed. At the front door, Estelle waited. You're leaving? I have to. She smiled sadly. Then remember this. Memory isn't mercy. It's debt. Fog rolled in. The driveway curved too far. Behind me the mansion stood quiet, except for one window pulsing faintly, like a heartbeat starting again. I didn't look back. but the reflection did. Naomi may have escaped the mansion, but memory travels, and what the house keeps, it keeps forever. For the first time in weeks, the morning looked harmless. Sky milk blue, clouds thin as gauze. For a moment I almost believed it, until a bird above me rewound the sky with its wings. The road ahead stretched gray and endless, damp from a storm that hadn't come. I rolled the window down. The air smelled like rain and iron, and something faintly sweet, like lilies left too long in water. The radio stayed dead. My phone blinked 6:41 a.m., the same time it had been when I'd left the mansion. It hadn't moved since. I told myself it was a glitch. A small mercy of broken time. The highway was empty, too clean, like someone had erased everything before I could remember it. And maybe that's what I wanted to forget. But forgetting, I'd learned, was never free. The gas station appeared around a slow bend, red lights humming in the mist. It looked new, like it had just been built. A woman stood inside, half lit by a neon sign that said, "Welcome back." When I stepped in, the bell above the door didn't ring. She smiled too quickly, eyes glassy and kind. "Long drive?" she asked. Her voice echoed twice, once from her mouth, once from the glass refrigerator behind her. The same sentence half a second late. I blinked. Behind her reflection, another version of her didn't smile. It stared directly at me and mouthed something soundless. "Don't look behind you." I froze. The hum of the refrigerator stretched longer, deeper, turning into something that wasn't a hum at all. A slow, steady heartbeat. I dropped the drink I hadn't realized I was holding. It burst open across the floor, dark red against white tile. The clerk looked down, then up again. Her eyes weren't glassy anymore. They were wet, like she'd been crying. She whispered, "You left the house, but the house didn't leave you." I ran before the echo finished her sentence. The motel was a square of flickering light off the highway. Room 9, always room 9. I didn't notice the numbers repeating until the key slid into the lock. The room smelled like bleach and damp carpet. A single mirror hung across from the bed, oval, flawless. I turned it to face the wall. The shower hissed, and for a second I swore I heard someone whisper under the water. Just one word, stretched thin like breath. "Listen." Steam filled the air, and in it, slowly, letters appeared on the bathroom mirror. One by one, STAYI didn't scream. I watched it happen. The letters didn't smear or fade. They sank, like the glass was swallowing them. Then the water began to move the wrong way, upward, dripping from drain to shower head, like gravity had been convinced to forget me. I reached for the mirror. It was cold, too cold. For a second, I felt a pulse beneath it. Not mine, someone else's, like a heartbeat pressed against the other side. That was when I saw her. Not a ghost, not quite. A girl, maybe 17? Wet hair, pale eyes, the same necklace Eleanor used to wear. Lila. Her mouth moved, silent, trapped behind the mirror's sheen. Then, faintly, I heard it. "You started it." My chest went hollow. I whispered, "It wasn't my fault." Her expression didn't change. The glass trembled once, then cracked, hairline first, then wide. When I blinked, she was gone. I drove until the fog turned gold with sunrise, though the sun never rose. Just stayed there behind the same pale curtain. The town appeared out of nowhere, a diner. A few houses, no people. Every sign said the same name. Naomi, street signs, billboards, even a faded newspaper box. My name, repeated like a prayer someone forgot the ending to. Inside the diner, the air smelled like syrup and rust. A waitress stood behind the counter, wiping an already clean glass. She smiled when she saw me. "You look tired," she said, and the mirror behind her whispered the same thing, half a second late. I asked for coffee. She poured, hands shaking. Then she leaned close and said softly, "It's here too." The glass behind her clouded with condensation. Something moved inside it, slow and deliberate. Another hand. Not hers. She turned, eyes wide, and froze. The reflection didn't match her anymore. It faced me, smiling. Then the waitress collapsed, as if her shadow had been pulled from her body. Her reflection stayed upright for a full second before fading. I didn't move. Couldn't. The coffee steamed untouched. I could still hear her voice, not from her lips, but from the mirror. Everyone remembers something. Some things remember back. I backed out of the diner. The air outside shimmered, like the heat of a lie. I drove again. Roads looping back on themselves, exit signs rearranging. Every direction was the same. The sky refused to change color. At one intersection, I saw a child standing by the road. Dark hair, bare feet, her hand raised like she was waiting for someone. When I stopped, she leaned close to the window. Her reflection appeared before she did. "Do you remember me?" she asked. Her voice was two voices, one small, one older. I wanted to say no, but the necklace around her neck, Lila's necklace, gleamed like a wound. She pressed her hand to the glass. Behind her, my reflection did the same. Only mine smiled. Then the little girl whispered, "The house just wanted to be seen," and vanished. I screamed. Not words, just noise. The kind that doesn't belong to language anymore. And the world went silent to listen. When I finally stopped, the car was out of gas. No road signs, no wind. Just an empty field with a house sitting in the distance. Not the house. Not exactly. But close enough that my body remembered it. The same windows. The same porch swing. And in one of the upstairs rooms, a light was on. I whispered, "I left you." The house didn't answer. The wind did. A hollow exhale through the grass. I walked closer. Each step made the air heavier. Inside, the walls were new, uncracked, freshly painted. A mirror hung where the family portraits should have been. My reflection waited. She looked older, paler, like she'd seen more of the house than I ever could. She spoke first. "You left everything to escape me," I said. "You're not me." And she smiled. Not cruelly, just tired. "You carried it with you." Behind her, I saw movement. The wallpaper breathing. The floor pulsing. A shape forming behind glass. A heartbeat with a face. I stepped back. The mirror leaned forward. The surface rippled. Not a reflection, but water. My hand brushed it, and it rippled again. Not out, but in. Like the mirror was inhaling. And then I, stepped through. I woke on the church floor. Stained glass light poured across my hands, bright and wrong. For a second, I thought I'd made it out, until I noticed my breath fogging in the air, and the fog moving before I did. The mirror above the altar shimmered. My reflection knelt beside me, praying. I said her name. She lifted her head, my head, and smiled gently. "You wanted to be seen. Now you are." The sound in the walls started again, slow, rhythmic. Not echo, not thunder. A heartbeat I exhaled, and the breath hung there, silver and trembling before drifting toward the mirror. It spread across the glass like frost, and from inside, the house breathed back. She's out of the mansion, but not out of its memory. Now the house is breathing through her, and the world is starting to remember. The world woke strange. Rain fell upward against the windows of my car. Each drop reversed itself halfway down, hung mid-air, then slid back into the sky. The trees bent inward, shivering like lungs. I should have screamed. Instead, I watched, because the rhythm matched the heartbeat I'd heard inside the church. The house was still breathing. Only now, so was everything else. At first, the changes were small. A couple walking their dog stopped mid-stride, whispering the same sentence at once. "It's waiting." Then both smiled, too wide, too calm, and kept walking. In the grocery store, every mirror on the ceiling showed me facing the wrong way. My reflection's back turned toward me, head tilted like it was listening to something I couldn't hear. If I blink, it'll stop. It always stops. When I blinked, it moved closer. I left the cart in the aisle. People stared as I pushed through the door, but their eyes didn't track me. They tracked her, the version of me that still stood inside. I tried to call someone. Marcus. My mother. Even Eleanor's old number. Each time the line connected to silence first, then breathing, and then a voice that wasn't mine said softly, "You're learning." I threw the phone out the window, but when it hit the ground, every nearby screen flickered the same image. My face half lit, whispering the words I hadn't said. The echo was spreading faster than guilt ever could. By evening, the news anchors had started repeating phrases from the house. "This memory brought to you by Mercy," one said with a plastic smile. Behind her, studio glass shimmered with faint movement. Not a reflection, something pacing. A tremor rippled through the broadcast feed. Her smile cracked mid-sentence. I switched the station. Every channel showed the same woman, same tone, same words. A choir of news anchors speaking in perfect unison. Every voice moved in the rhythm of the house, mine included. You can't forget what the house remembers. I drove north until the highway ran out. Forests bled into mist. Signs vanished. The world thinned. Somewhere past midnight, I stopped at a rest area that shouldn't have existed. A building too clean, lights too bright. Inside, vending machines lined the wall like sentries. Their glass fronts shimmered with fog. My reflection appeared in each one, multiplied. Dozens of me watching myself. One stepped forward when I didn't. She lifted her hand and pressed it against the glass. The others followed, and in that chorus of mirrored faces I saw Eleanor standing behind them all, tired, patient, almost kind. "You kept what I built alive," she said. Her voice came from the air, from the hum of the lights. "Memory is mercy, Naomi. Forgetting was never an option," I whispered. "You died." A pause. Then gently, "So did you." The lights blinked. For an instant, every reflection turned its head, not toward me but toward something behind me. I turned too late. The vending machine glass had dissolved into water. Beyond it, hallways stretched, a maze of rooms I recognized. The mansion, rebuilt in miniature, waiting for me to step through. The air behind me pressed forward. "Not wind, breath." I said, "No." But the echo said, "Come home." When I opened my eyes again, I was standing in a city street, except the buildings pulsed faintly, as if their windows inhaled. People moved like clock hands, precise, identical beats. Every few steps, someone stopped and turned to stare at me. Their pupils dilated in the same rhythm as my pulse. Each time I blinked, one of them vanished. The ones who stayed began humming, a low, collective sound that built in waves. Streetlights flickered with it. Storefront mirrors darkened, showing shapes that didn't belong. And then I saw Marcus. He stood across the street, still, unreadable. If he was still real, I should have run to him. Instead, I froze. When our eyes met, his reflection behind him smiled first. Then he raised a hand, hesitant, almost gentle, and mouthed, "You brought it back." Traffic moved between us. Horns blared, engines roared. By the time the street cleared, only his reflection remained. I ran, through alleys that bent wrong, through glass doors that breathed when I passed. My own footsteps came back seconds late. At the end of one alley, a mural covered the brick, a painting of the mansion done in wet ash. Under it, a sentence scrawled in something dark. "She remembers for all of us." I reached out. The paint shimmered alive. Images flickered beneath the surface. Faces, rooms, whispers looping like prayers. What if remembering means never leaving? Then the mural opened its eyes. I stumbled back. The bricks pulsed once, twice. Then the wall exhaled dust, and the voice of the house filled the street. "You wanted to forget. Now the world will remember for you." The city lights dimmed. Every window became a mirror. Every mirror breathed, and in each reflection, a version of me repeated the same motion, hand to glass, pleading or praying. Their mouths moved together, whispering a single word I couldn't hear, until one of them pressed closer. The sound leaked through the surface, a whisper turning into heartbeat, heartbeat into thunder. The ground vibrated. Street lamps flickered in time, and the echo finally spoke, everywhere at once. "Listen." And then nothing. Not silence. Expectation. The sound wasn't loud. It was inside. A pulse under my ribs, matching the rhythm of the house's breath. I fell to my knees, hands over my ears, but it kept going. Through skin, through thought. The city joined in, humming like a single living lung. When silence returned, the sky had changed. Clouds twisted in mirrored spirals. Each reflected the ground perfectly, like the world had folded in half. And on that horizon of reflection, I saw them. Thousands of figures walking upside down, shadowed versions of everyone I'd ever known. Each carried a shard of glass where a heart should be, each glowing faintly from within. They were the house now, the archive, the remembrance, I whispered. What do you want? The reflection nearest me, the one wearing my face, smiled. To finish what you began. It reached out. Fingers brushed mine through invisible glass. The contact burned. Not pain, but memory flooding back all at once. Eleanor's cane tapping, Lila's whisper, Marcus's betrayal, the first scream that the house ever kept. All of it alive again, rebuilding itself through me. I woke before dawn beside a river that flowed both ways. The air was still. My reflection in the water didn't match my breath anymore. When I exhaled, fog drifted across the surface, forming small mirrored shapes, faces, words, fragments. They whispered to each other, too soft to understand. Then, slowly, one of them turned toward me. Are you ready to remember? It asked. I nodded. I wasn't ready, but I was done running, because maybe that's all we ever were. Stories the house told to keep itself alive. I dipped my hand into the water. It was cold, familiar. The surface rippled outward, carrying the reflection's voice with it. Far across the river, other voices answered. Dozens, hundreds, as the world began to echo itself into forever. Somewhere, another mirror hums, the house is gone. But its memory is not. Now every mirror hums its heartbeat, and every breath remembers her name. She escaped the mansion. She became it, end of the echo that remains.